All right, when Andy was bringing the combine home from H&R, this ladder came crashing down. It just folds out like that. Then after further investigating, these gas struts right here is what keeps the ladder up there and aids in pulling it down and pushing it up. And as you can see, this one is shot. We got a new one to put on there. I can't collapse it. Even put it on the ground, putting all my weight on it. It still won't collapse. So how am I supposed to get this end onto this right here? We'll pull the ladder down. Well, we'll pull the ladder down. That actually moves this up. So we can't get this to go any farther down. So I've got to find some way to collapse this gas strut here to get it up on there. And if 230 pounds pressing down on it won't do it, I gotta come up with a different way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap a ratchet strap around it like that, and then use a ratchet strap to ratchet it closed till I can slip it on there. All right, getting closer. Almost there. All right, I think another half of a click will do it. All right, I'm holding my clip out. I got it raised up about the right height. Let me jiggle my ladder around, get it on there. All right, I think it's on there now. Haha. All right. Oh yeah. Just like she's supposed to work. Kelly and Andy finally up spraying that wheat right there. Been a sprayer valve been giving us all kinds of problems for the last day. First the housing on it broke, then replaced the housing this morning, had to have it overnighted, and then the valve would like go on and off like twice and then stop. Turns out I had a bad valve also. And what's the chances of both those things going out at the same time? Unless maybe it's a valve that broke the housing. Don't see how that's possible, but I guess anything's possible. So anyway, they're finally back up and spraying the wheat, and not a moment too soon, because I've got some wheat that's probably 24 hours or less from coming up out of the ground. And once it comes up out of the ground, spraying Roundup as a burn down is off the table. And we got a lot of poana and got a little bit of ryegrass out there that's got to be killed. And I think there's options to do that in season, but it's a heck of a lot more expensive than what Roundup is. All right, after working on stuff all day, got our combine back to the field, got our header hooked up, got our combine back from H&R, so let's fire it up, let's see if that rotor turns. All right, watch this right here. Oh yeah, it's alive. Let's go cut some beans. About 160 acres to go. All right, now for the burning question that I'm sure all of y'all are asking, what was wrong with my combine? Well, I'm actually glad you asked. It's really a funny story. Not funny when I'm going to pay the bill, but you know, to you it's probably a funny story. you know, when you last seen us cutting beans, it was late at night. I was working on my last load. We were going to go pick cotton the next day, and anyway, almost had a hopper full, and all of a sudden I heard a noise coming from the rotor, I thought. So got down and looked, and there's a ticking noise come. I dumped a rock trap and got a pretty sizable rock out of there that had been partially broken off. And anyway, thought that was it. Maybe it was hitting on the feed accelerator or whatever. Anyway, dumped it, kicked everything back on, noise was still there. So I got Andy to come over here and kick the rotor on while I pulled the shields out. While I pulled the shields off, trying to determine exactly where the noise was coming from. Anyway, he kicked the rotor on, and the noise was coming from the back of the rotor. And then I also noticed the rotor wasn't turning. So my immediate assumption was worst case scenario. My reman rotor gearbox we replaced 2 years ago has gone out, or the coupler from the gearbox to the back of the rotor has gone out. Either way, neither one of them I can fix because I don't have a crane to pull the rotor gearbox out, and I don't currently have a forklift to be able to pull the rotor out. And I also checked to make sure the rotor was still in gear. I moved the lever back and forth, and it moved back and forth real easy. Normally doesn't do that. Normally it's hard and notchy. So my immediate thought was that freaking reman gearbox has gone out. My luck with Case H reman parts has been well documented. Like that's exactly what it is. But anyway, it's time to pick cotton. We got a lot of cotton to fix. I'm gonna let the dealership deal with this. It's anything I can deal with. So called dealership up. They said, yeah, bring it over. Got it over there the next morning. And about a week and a half later, they called me back. Well, we found out what your problem was, and it wasn't what we thought it was. You brought it over here, and it was making that noise, and yeah, we thought the exact same thing you did. It sounded just like a rotor gearbox had gone out. We actually had one in here about 2 weeks ago that the gearbox was out on, making that exact same noise. But anyway, but the good news is we pulled your gearbox out and checked it out, and your gearbox is 100% perfect, nothing wrong with it. We also pulled your clutch pack apart. Everything looks great in there. So it's not anything expensive. What it wound up being, when that rock went through the combine, it must have knocked the rotor into neutral somehow, and I didn't play around with it enough trying to get it back into gear. That noise that we heard coming from the back of the rotor was chopper knives that, when the rocket went through, had broken off one of the bolts holding the knives on, and they were just kind of pivoting on one bolt and slapping the metal work. So they put me a brand new set of chopper knives on there, got the rotor back in gear, and she's working perfectly. But we still had a really big labor bill for pulling the clutch pack apart and pulling the rotor gearbox out. So that one rock cost me $5,500. And if I hadn't been so frustrated and in such a hurry to go pick cotton, done a little bit more diagnosing the next morning, there's a good chance I would have found it out myself, rather than just automatically assuming the worst case scenario, which I've said it time and time again, that's my problem. I always imagine the worst case scenario, and I forget to check the simple stuff first. I don't know if I'll ever learn that lesson. Check the simple stuff first. Because more times than not, that's what it is. So basically $5,500 to get a new set of chopper knives and get them installed, and my combine is back up and running like a champ. So guys, those of y'all that work with equipment, please learn from my mistake. When something goes wrong, eliminate the simple stuff first. Please save yourself the headache. Don't do like me. Don't make your life any more difficult than what it needs to be. Maybe one day I'll learn that lesson, but if I hadn't learned it in 18 years of farming myself, I kind of doubt I'll ever learn it. So, I mean, good. You know, the good thing was, you know, it wasn't an expensive gearbox. But it still cost me a lot of money regardless. And of course, I also made the mistake of telling the shop what I thought it was, which gave them a preconceived notion about what it was. You know, I told them I think it's the back of the rotor or it's the gearbox. Where if I just told them, hey, we got a noise coming from the back, you know, there's a very good chance, you know, rather than automatically assuming I was right, they would have checked the simple stuff first themselves and saved me a boatload of money. you know, they're human too, and they make mistakes, and someone gets it planted in their mind what it probably is, and they just encountered the same problem a few weeks ago. I mean, that you know, they're going to forget to check the simple stuff too. But anyway, this thing's humming like a top. Got 160 acres to go. Don't know when rain's going to get here. I haven't checked the weather forecast. Really don't care. We're going to cut. As long as it's dry, we're going to cut. And if we happen to get done before it rains, fantastic. If we don't, we don't. But hey, look, we're still making 70 bushel beans even after being out of the bean field for what? A solid 3 weeks at least. Good thing to know these beans didn't go anywhere. Well, we're almost a couple loads in for the day. That daylight savings time doesn't come back to bite us. Sure would like a little bit more sunlight this time of year. But everything running like a top. It is starting to get a little chilly outside. If you remember from last fall when we was finishing up, it was frigid cold. Weather's definitely a lot nicer, but it's still getting a little chilly. But all I gotta do just turn that knob just a little bit, and I got warm air coming out the vents. This is the first time this year we get to test that heater valve that we replaced this winter. Yeah, remember last fall? I mean, I was in here with a coat on, and my feet and my hands were like frozen bricks because I wasn't getting any heat into the cab. But man, she feels nice now. Don't need a heater core very much in a combine, but they're here at the end of the season. It sure is nice. Now, I think we're probably going to shut down once we get this load finished off. My ground speed's done dropped. These beans are starting to get pretty tough. My rotor loss is going up a little bit, and I'm actually going to get home early for the first time in, geez, I don't know, a week and a half. I don't know. It's definitely not going to be a 10:30 to midnight night to night. But we made a pretty good dent on them today. It would take pretty much a miracle for us to be able to get done in one more day, especially considering, you know, we got to change 3 different farms. But we've missed the rain so far. They were calling for like a 50-60% chance of rain after lunch today, and I mean, it was partly sunny, so I haven't checked the weather forecast lately. I don't know if they're calling for some more chances tonight or tomorrow or whatever, but with today being Thursday, if we do miss the rain, like I said, I don't think we'll get done tomorrow, but we should finish up relatively early on Saturday if we don't have any rain and don't have any breakdowns. So that's kind of the goal for right now. Well, before we shut off, let's see what the weather forecast says.
Elsewhere around the region, here is the forecast for the Diagnosing weather radio listening area. Tonight, mostly cloudy. A chance of rain after midnight. Lows in the upper 60s. South winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Chance of rain 50%. Friday, cloudy in the morning, then becoming partly sunny. A 50% chance of rain. Highs in the upper 60s. Southwest winds 10 miles an hour, becoming northwestward gusts to 20 miles an hour in the afternoon. Friday night, mostly cloudy in the evening, then clearing. Much cooler with lows in the upper 30s.
All right, guys, y'all heard it. I think.
Did you forget something?
No.
Well, there you heard it, guys. I think it'd be in our best interest to keep on cutting a little while longer. And I just checked the NOAA forecast. They're saying like 80% chance of rain early tomorrow morning. So and then we got a 2-day window with sunny skies, no rain, and it's going to take these beans a little while to dry out. So, you know, at most we might have a day and a half cutting before the next round of rain comes in. So, yeah, I think we better keep on cutting, try and get a little bit more beans in the bin, be that much closer to getting done. Well, y'all want to see the final result of what deer do? This right here is one of the better spots in this little neck. We got a little neck that goes around and got trees on all sides, and the tall stuff out there is weeds. The beans are terribly short. And so far this farm's averaging 62 bushels per acre on a double crop. Yeah, that's what them four-legged whitetail critters do. Oh, we hit double digits, back down to single digits. Now this is most definitely an extreme case of deer damage, but you know, this is what we see around the edges of a lot of our fields, you know, because the deer don't mind venturing very, you know, right there from the edge of the trees into the field to, you know, get their meals. Not like they got to go way out in the middle, but with this little neck being about, I don't know, 200 feet wide at most, you know, they got, you know, they're protected and they can get out there, and they got a 24-hour buffet to eat on. And then, of course, we got weeds and stuff that come up in the middle because the soybeans aren't shading the ground. A little bit better, but still a far cry from the 62 bushels this farm's averaging. All right, I'm gonna call it. We almost got this farm done. We got like 6-7 more acres to go. But I stopped my knife up like five times in the last 20 minutes. It's gotten too wet. So we had a heck of a run today. Got right at 60 acres done since about 4:30, and it's 9:30 now. So we had a heck of a run. A lot better than I thought we were gonna have when we started this evening. So don't know when we'll be out here next time. Depends on what the weather does tonight and tomorrow morning, but we'll see you back out here in the soybean field.